Now I hope it is enough. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
My name is Iryna, but I think we all know each other. We all used to work together, so very nice to see you girls. How are you today?
Fine,
Good,
thanks.
thank you.
Good. I'm very, very pleased that you came on my training. And so the training, I will show you a little short video of what is the training going to be about. I think you will understand straight away, but for me it's important. Let's have some little fun, I would say. So, as you all understood, the main object of today's training is effective communication. By having effective communication, you could be successful, I think, in everything you're doing. But as we work in our special restaurants environment, for us it's very, very important to know how to communicate with our team members, how to communicate with the customers, to be successful, to have a good performance numbers, to actually to sell, because that's, let's say, that's our main goal. So we all have we'll all have some kind of experience, previous experience. It's nice, so we're gonna share now all the opinions, but I just think that sometimes it's nice to renew the information. Maybe you'll get something new. I would like to hear your previous experience from your previous works. So, and we're gonna discuss that today, if you don't mind. So just as I said, we all know each other, but we all used to be a colleague. So again, it's nice to see you. Maybe just to try to know each other from the different side. Would you like to introduce you to us by telling us what kind of superhero, if you would have a superpower, would you like to be? I can start from myself. So maybe I think, even if I'm a woman, I would like to be an Aladdin, because Aladdin has a special magic lamp. So you can actually check it and call the genie, so who will make every single wish to come true. So I think I would like to use the superpower just to have, if I need it, to have this genie. So what about you girls?
I think I would like to be Maui from Moana.
Why?
Because he's funny.
Funny? Oh yes, I think you are funny.
Yeah, but he is strong, but
Yes.
He's just funny and he's something different, and I like that about him. He's unusual.
That's interesting. What about you, Anna?
Every girl wants to be a princess, right?
Yes,
So
yes, it's true. It's true.
fulfilling childhood dreams would be, I would like to try to be a princess Cinderella or something like that. She became princess then, right?
Yes.
Or some kind of, there was a movie, I forgot the name, when they had a ring and they were turning the ring and they could change place.
Oh, actually, I don't remember the name of that.
Arabella.
Yes.
Arabella.
Oh, Arabella. Oh, wow.
So I would like that ring. They could change the time and they could change place.
Oh, wow. Actually, you chose maybe the most rare objects or like story. Yes. So that's nice. So you see, I didn't know that about you. Would even tell, because you are the funny one and you are the princess one. So,
Yeah,
but nice. Yes. So, but nice to know how people see us. Anyway,
it's actually
just in
quite funny.
case. Yes. So, coming back to our training, just to repeat for you, the main goal, the aim of our training will be to understand an importance of effective communication through the working process and, of course, in everyday's life as well. So, as an objective, we're going to discuss with you 3 communication methods. I think you will all know it, but just to review it. and in the end you will as an outcome you will be able to use effectively these methods. Maybe you will know something new for yourself, you'll get some new knowledge, and we're going to share some ideas, because to have a theoretic part is good, but just to share an experience, I think that will be nice, and maybe we will know something new from everything from our today's session. So let me introduce you some ground rules. I would say the ground rules of our training will be only to listen to each other, to be patient to each other, and maybe to be active, if you don't mind. If you want something to add, something about the rules of the training, I will be happy. Do you have any ideas, girls?
No, at this point I'm just curious.
Curious?
And I'm going to
Yes.
learn.
Okay, good. So let me just show you the quick presentation, for not to just to be empty worded, about 3 main types of communication, and we're going to discuss that. Yes, so you just get a quick presentation about 3 main types of communication. Could you please tell me your own opinion, which one is the more effective and why? Mina, we'll start from you if you don't mind.
Well, I would definitely say non-verbal communication, because I think it's something that conveys basically something where you can't really hide anything, and it says a lot more, things that might be forgotten. For instance, especially in a professional kind of setup, if you're uncomfortable, let's say, whether it's with a colleague where there's any conflict, or with a customer where you're dealing with a customer complaint, or a customer, has got an unusual request or whatever. It's very important to look at that, because I mean, for me personally, I know I'm not always aware of certain facial expressions and things.
Yes.
So you need to be careful for that as well. Where obviously it's easy to control what you say and things like that, and you get more information also from how people act and things like that, because you can't really control it as much. You can't really hide it.
Yes. So it's a, let's say, second way to check if person is actually telling
and
the truth.
You actually convey more information from non-verbal communication,
and even like what the person think about you, because let's say
the
by the open pose, you can see that
the body language, the way facial expression, lots of different things.
Yes, I agree with you. That's interesting. What about you, Anna?
I think Mina said the same.
Yes, you agree.
Yes, because I never thought about that, but visual communication is it's useful, like the road signs, for example, right? When you don't have much time to explain something. But I think the non-verbal is something we understand unconsciously, and that, as you said, is less. We can't control it really, unless we really try. And I think it's something we all human beings understand, even between languages, right? Even if it's just gestures or tone of voice.
And it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's more clear, and a lot of it I think is instinctive as well. Like you say, even with words, you can. There's more room for misunderstanding each other, whereas with non-verbal communication, it's pretty clear, and,
even if, let's say, there's this person speaking another language, you can understand easily whether this person is aggressive to you or like still wants to talk, so you can read that, and as I agree with you, it's easy now to, let's say, to lie by using words, so and no one can control it, and we will there's some people who will never know whether it's true or not by the gestures, and they see. I did have, for example, one girl. We used to study psychology together, and she's been let's say the main person in the class, But every time, and she's been really good at lying, so we knew her, and she was this kind of person who liked it, who liked to say, so look at that, how smart I am. Now the tutor will come and I will convince him whatever I want to do, or like, so even I'm not prepared to answer some kind of material, I will go now in front of everyone and everyone will believe. So she could tell any cynical kind of lie, you will not even understand. But she had one physical things which everyone knew about her. As soon as she started to lie, because she had a ginger hair, she started to get red here on the neck straight away. Even her face, like, you know, covered with the makeup, but this part straight away. And everyone knew. Of course, we knew, like teachers, they didn't know because they don't see us every day, but we knew that, and it was such a obvious. So let's say non-verbal.
That's not something you can control. That's
exactly. So imagine that even if she looked very, very, you know, when she knew I'm lying quite well, how inconvenient she's been, like inside. She's been like maybe worried that I'm lying.
So
and body
exactly.
So body started to tell like, oh my God, don't worry, I'm lying now. So it's very, very, very good. Yes, it's true. And of course, a part of the, let's say, body situation, we all have a different kind of barriers in our communication, in effective communication, let's say they could be different. They could be physical, they could be psychological. I did prepare some material. Could you please check your pages, girls? So could you please read that through? I'll just tell you, we have a physical barriers, we have a attitude, language, psychological barriers, lack of common experience, information overload, and assumption and jumping to conclusions. If you could just quickly read that, check that through and think, tell me your opinion about which one are the most common barriers and how to deal with them, especially for us who works with the customers every single day. I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes just to read that through. What do you think about it? If someone is ready, yes, let's just discuss it.
A few things that I struggle with.
In our working life, let's say.
It's definitely, I'm often guilty of information overload. Because I talk too much.
It's a woman one, I would say.
I talk too much.
Yes.
And I have had situations at work with colleagues in a personal capacity where I will start telling a story and then unfortunately, I do go into detail and I'm trying to put things into context, but about halfway through the story I can see people are getting irritated and they're not listening anymore.
Yes.
And obviously with the customer, I need to really concentrate on not doing that with the customer. And with a certain gentleman that we used to work for, I know that was one of the things that used to frustrate him about me, because he would say, just say yes or no. Don't give me all this information. Just say yes or no. That's definitely something I'm guilty of. Ambiguity and abstractions, I would say as well, especially, even something like taking orders from customers, if you're taking a food order, whatever, people will get irritated if you kind of repeat it back and they think, why are you being so obvious? I just said this. But if you don't do that, that's where mistakes happen. Especially in the food industry or even
exactly. That's kind of restaurant. So let's say and people need to know that. Yes.
Language as well, because especially we do get to do with people from different nationalities, and
of course.
People use different expressions and things. But so that.
What did you do? Did you work on yourself? Like, what did you do to overcome the situations, to just try to escape them, or like, did you work on yourself, or maybe you check some information through?
I try to, especially with customers, I try to be more concise But it also depends on what kind of relationship you have with customers. If it's people who you know a bit better, then I will kind of be myself more. Whereas with other customers, I try. I have to concentrate on literally just being more factual, and it's not that I'm unprofessional. It's just you've got to.
I would say that's even thing which actually you are worried about, because if I would come as a customer and someone would start to talk to me, because we actually can feel very easy with there's polite conversation, which is how are you, I'm fine, what would you like, or that's a real like honest conversation when person share something with you, so being really nice with you and talking. So that's what I know working with you, that actually everyone loves you exactly because of that, because that's your way. You think you're talking too much or like overloading with information, but the people who works with you, they know you as a very generous and very interesting person who has everything, like every single time has something to say. So people love it about you, love it. They see all your energy and they see everything like, oh my god, I like Mina, where is Mina? Believe me.
Well, one thing that we were taught, and when I studied social work, is we also did stuff about communication, but that was so long ago, I can't remember a lot of it. But that's something I need to focus on, which I only thought about now, is that when you have a conversation about certain things, you end it by summarizing and basically highlighting specific important things.
Yeah, that would help. Yes, exactly.
And for instance, I know it's not necessarily relevant to a restaurant or whatever, but if you do give too much information, which I'm guilty of, then just sort of sum up and say, right, this and this.
Yes. Oh, well done. Very good. Anna, what about you?
I don't know if it's about the working life, but something interesting that came to my mind is the lack of common experience. With what I understood here in UK, that first thing is whenever I meet someone from Eastern Europe, I feel it's so easy to speak with them, just because I don't need to explain some things. And also, I was speaking with an English woman lately, and we were speaking about childhood, and I said that once I got a banana, and it was like such a big thing, and she told me, why didn't you eat bananas when you were little? And I looked at her and I thought, how can I explain what communist is in
that's only 3 minutes? For birthdays,
And I thought we want, even if I say some things to her, she won't be able to understand really what I want to tell, right? Because she never had that experience and can't even imagine. So
the same. It's true. The same example of the lack of common experience, as you, Mina, said that, for example, by the end of the taking order, you repeat that. So person would think, so I'm saying such obvious things, why do you need to repeat that? But this person doesn't know that actually we need to, it's mostly for us to know that we are not making any mistakes, and we took everything and we're gonna charge them right amount of money, not over or under charge. So people who never work, but now, for example, when I used to work in Costa, I know that from it, and every time I see that, I see the girl who is even trying to do something, even I think, yes, I'm not really patient, I would like to go, but I understand what she's doing, and I'm more patient, and actually, there's most likely I will have a successful communication with her, and I'm not going to get angry or have a bad emotions because of that experience, because I know what that is mean to be there and to stay there. So this lack of experience, when you come, you think everything is easy. Like I come as a customer and that's easy, there is nothing, the girl, they don't do nothing there. So it's, of course, that's a barrier which actually not going to help to have effective communication and have sales. But I would say that not everyone thinks about it. It's you, or for example, Anna, you are the person who likes to reflect on that, who likes to think later, why did I do this one or this one? So you will understand, but not everyone wants even to think, to waste all time for it. Very good. That's actually something we can adapt to our working process. Yes. So, and do you remember any stories? For example, I remember a very good story, and I want just to tell you, and you will share would like to know your opinion. You remember we did have one customer, the lady, very very nice lady, but she was talking too much. She was saying like giving you all the information she get through the whole day. How would you communicate with this kind of people? Because she came, she explained everything to you, you've been nice, but you still need to work, so you need to sell her something, you need to turn her into your way, but being polite on the same time and not let her get a like bad experience. What would you think, girls?
That is a difficult one. That's something I struggle with. And
So how to
whether it is
explain
someone
her?
you like or whether it's someone you dislike, I've had both. We had a gentleman at a place I worked before who would come with his newspaper and he would literally read the whole newspaper
Exactly, to
from
you.
back to front, and he would discuss every single article with you.
Oh, wow.
And
So how to
obviously
deal?
you felt
to deal?
bad because he was lonely, but I would say to him, I'm really sorry, but I've got to talk to someone else, or I've got to go upstairs, I've got to do this. But it is difficult because it is something I still struggle with. You know, for instance, it's difficult to kind of cut that conversation short, but just say, you know, I'm really sorry, but I've got to.
So let's say we need to apologize first,
Yeah.
I would say, because
Yeah.
so tell even, or example, say, so it's everything is very interesting and thank you for telling me that information, but unfortunately I will need to leave you here. Maybe
Yes.
if I will have some
Yeah, that's
free
actually a
time.
good way of putting it, yeah.
Yes, like if I'll have some free time, I will come back. But for now, I need to work because of my manager is here, so I need to work. So I'm here
All
to
these
work.
people behind you in the
Yes,
queue,
exactly. So
yeah.
or everyone wants my attention. So and I need to work with, like to communicate with them as well. So that's very nice. Do you have did you have any kind of this kind of crazy situations when you had a difficult communication moments, and how did you work on it?
Yeah, it is difficult, especially if someone keeps on speaking.
Uh-huh.
It's difficult
Yeah.
to cut,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like because it's rude to cut into
Yeah.
someone half of someone's sentence.
But still be nice, yes,
Yes.
on the same time.
Yeah, especially in the industry where we work in.
Yes, exactly. And let's say if we're comparing that everyone knows everyone and people expect that they come, you are
Yeah.
nearly their best friend because you are very polite and lovely with them. So yes, it's true. Do you have any questions by now, girls? Maybe something which you didn't understand or something you wanted to add to all our theoretical part information?
No, not really.
Yes, I have here some kind of short video about 3 tips of effective communications. I would like just you to watch it quickly. I would say that's quite informative. So plan your communication first. So try to deliver your message. Try to. And tip number 3. I will send all these videos to you just to have it. So if you feel that you need it, so just to refresh your knowledge tiny bit, and because that's still quite a lot of information. So if you need some time just to sit down to read it carefully, I think that will be quite useful as soon as you will have some time. If you don't mind, I have some questions to you, just to check how did we understand everything, and just I don't know, to have some nice fine interruption. So what's the first thing that you should do making the eye contact with the customer? First, say hello. Second, smile. Third, ask if you can be an assistant. And the last one, refer them to manager. So what would you say?
Smile.
First thing when you see customer, when you have a contact, what should you do?
You should smile.
Smile. I would say the same. Let's say even saying how can I help you, but having this that
Of course,
face when you
of
like, oh
course.
my god, why did you come to here?
That's a very
Yes.
good point.
It's not. It's even I think I would get scared. Like something.
Do you know what?
Interrupting
Sorry for
someone.
interrupting. I had that when I was at the Royal Albert Hall. The restaurant I managed there was very difficult and a lot of pressure. And we had a counter service, but we had to first take people to their tables. And it was a very long restaurant, and we had 2 different doors. So you would have literally 100, 200 people queuing the moment those doors opened. So it was a lot of pressure. You had to get them in. And even though I thought I was being friendly,
Yes.
I got comments from customers saying that they could see I was stressed and I wasn't actually being friendly. So even though I was talking to them in a nice, polite way, I didn't realize how bad my facial expression was and that they could see how stressed I was and that I wasn't smiling. So something as simple as that.
The same as
You don't
from
think
my
about.
experience.
No.
Let's say from after being living in Russia, you can say everyone will be friendly with you, but they don't smile. And after living in here, when I came back to home, and I see these faces, and I think, is it that difficult just to smile to me? So it's nothing special. I'm not asking you to do something.
It
like,
doesn't mean much, right?
Exactly, exactly, and it's not difficult to do. So, but yeah, that's really true. So customers who complain, what would you think? Looking at that kind of customers, first they had an unhappy childhood. They are unhappy. They have a trouble in their primary relationship, and are doing your service, helping you by identifying what isn't working for you, like in your restaurant, in your service. What would you say?
Of course, it's not a pleasant thing to get a complaint, but I think the third thing is quite true. Like you just need to get all the comments and try to make something of it. Of course, if it's made in a nasty way, you can assume some of them want to just give the bad energy back to someone else, right?
Exactly,
Pass it all
exactly.
to someone. So.
But it's nice because so it's difficult to. It's very easy to judge. But anyway, so we need to take every single difficult situation and think how we need to work on the situation to improve our service, so that this situation can actually work for us, help us. Otherwise, we will just be struggle. Thinking
Yes,
why
we shouldn't
there's so
take it on
many.
personal level,
Exactly.
right?
You-
Just
you
to check
share.
the information, but leave out all the
the
Yes.
emotions.
Yes.
Yeah, because the difficult thing is whether they did have an unhappy childhood or whether they are getting divorced or whatever, that's irrelevant to the situation where we are. If you are, let's say, a psychologist or a doctor or whatever, yes, you're discussing something else, that'll be relevant. But if it is someone who just complains about their food being cold or whatever, then unfortunately that is all you need to deal with. So it is easier to sort of just see it as factual. But obviously, as you say, it is difficult to not take it personally and take it as an insult.
I agree.
And one thing that someone said to me a long time ago was the best way to deal with a customer complaint is to have an open question to say to them, how would you like me to handle this?
Well done. Well done.
Which I didn't think of before he said that, to say, put the ball in their court. So you are acknowledging that, you respect their opinion and that you're not
and you want to
be
please
defensive.
them, right?
And you also make it easier for yourself by saying to them, what would you like me to do about it?
That's what I learned in Costa by being manager, because when I realized that I was team member was okay, but when you come to them as a manager, and actually I realized that they want just to be heard.
Yeah.
And they want just what they want. So I just only way I could deal with the situation, just ask them, so what would you like instead? So you're not happy, but how can I help? What would you like?
How can I fix
how
it?
you can see it, how situation can change. The last quite tricky question, when a misunderstanding happens with a customer, so what should you do? First, apologize for the error, even though you might not it's haven't been your error. Second, tell them it was someone else's fault. And third one, ask them if you can, what can you do to make them happy? So what do you think?
You have to start by apologizing.
And you need to make them happy.
Yeah,
That's
you need,
Yes.
yeah. So they're
Yes.
very, very close in how important they are. But unfortunately, whether you are right or wrong, whether you think they are right or wrong, is irrelevant because it's customer service. You have to start by apologizing.
I agree.
And as you said, even for people, just hearing that already makes a big difference for them to just.
It's true. At
I'm
least
sorry you
try
had a
to
bad
understand.
experience. I'm sorry, whatever.
It's true. So I see that actually you are very, very experienced one. I want to say big thank you that you came and you shared your experience with me, and I see you are quite active. So I think with your level of knowledge, you will be pleased to go on very nice and world famous coach training session called Mr. Ali. So he's coming here next month into the UK, and I would say me personally, on behalf of our company, would like to reward you by giving you some free tickets on their training. So you'll have a lot of experience, more experience. So you will have a nice certificate that you attended, and I think you will be a level up at your work.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, girls? Would you like maybe to recommend me some future references? What would you like to hear about? Would you like to have more sessions, more training sessions, this kind of?
I mean, more topics and things.
Yes, some different kind of topics which you will be interested in.
I think something about non-verbal communication, because that's something I remember. Sorry, as I said before, we did things about that in social work, and you know, how it was important to, you know, the way you stand, the way you open your arms, you know, things like that, which I'm also, you know, I'm not usually aware of the fact that I'm doing this or whatever. So something about non-verbal.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I see our training session is going to finish. Thank you for your experience. Thank you for coming, and we will see you next time. See you at work.
Thank you.